The day the aliens came was the darkest day in human history. No one saw it coming. The sky suddenly filled with strange ships, huge and black, blocking the sun like giant shadows. People looked up in fear. The ships moved silently but with great power. No one knew why they had come, but soon their answer became clear. The aliens did not come for peace. They came to destroy. Cities that once bustled with life turned into ruins in minutes. Tall buildings crumbled, roads cracked open, and fires burned everywhere. People ran for their lives, screaming and crying. Families were separated, and many were lost in the chaos. The world watched helplessly as the aliens' power crushed everything in their path. The sky was dark, filled with smoke and fire. It was a time of fear, pain, and despair. Governments tried to fight back, but their weapons were useless. The alien technology was far beyond anything humans had ever seen. Missiles exploded without harming the ships. Soldiers on the ground were outmatched by alien weapons that could freeze, burn, and destroy with a single blast. It seemed like the end for humanity. People began to lose hope, but even in the darkest moments, a few humans did not give up. Hidden deep underground and in secret places, they began to prepare. Scientists, soldiers, and ordinary people worked together. They knew they could not fight the aliens with brute force alone. They needed to think differently. They needed a plan no one expected. In secret laboratories, scientists studied the alien technology. They tried to find weaknesses, any small flaw that could be used against them. The work was hard, and many failed. But slowly, they learned more about the alien ships and their weapons. They discovered that aliens had one weakness, something humans had in plenty but aliens did not understand. It was fear. Fear was new to the aliens. They had never faced a species that could feel fear and use it as a weapon. Humans were afraid, yes, but that fear made them smarter and stronger. It pushed them to fight harder. It made them creative, fast and full of hope even when everything looked lost. Some humans trained to use this fear. They learned to move silently, to hide and strike when the aliens least expected it. They set traps, used the land to their advantage, and never gave up. Every small victory gave them more hope. They became shadows in the night, whispers of a fight that was just beginning. Meanwhile, the aliens grew frustrated. They could not understand why humans did not break like the others. Cities fell, but humans kept fighting. Their ships were powerful, but they could not crush the human spirit. The aliens started to feel something strange. Fear. It was new and confusing. The more humans fought, the more the aliens feared losing control. The world was changing. Humans were no longer just victims. They were becoming warriors. They were learning how to use fear to their advantage. And in the dark places, a secret weapon was being built, something powerful enough to change the war. No one knew exactly what this weapon was yet. Even the scientists who worked on it kept their secret well hidden. But its creation was a sign. It meant that humans had hope. They would not die quietly. They would fight back and make the aliens feel the same fear that humans had felt. People across the world waited and watched. Some believed the humans could win. Others thought the aliens would destroy everything. But one thing was certain. The war was not over. The aliens had brought destruction, but humans were ready to bring something new. Fear itself. In the silence between attacks, people whispered stories of the coming fight. They talked about brave men and women who risked everything for the chance to save the world. They told stories of hope, of courage, and of a future where humans would not be weak. The skies were still dark, and the cities still burned. But somewhere deep inside every human was a small flame. It was the flame of fear turned to power. The aliens had come to bring destruction, but they had awakened something stronger. The fear they brought would not break humans. It would make humans fight harder than ever before. And so the first chapter of this great war ended not with defeat, but with a quiet promise. The promise that humans would rise from the ashes. They would face the aliens, not as victims, but as warriors. The aliens had destroyed much, but they had also given humans a reason to fight. The fear of the unknown was now a weapon, and the battle for Earth was only beginning. After the first terrible attack, the world was broken but not destroyed. People everywhere were sad and scared, but they did not lose hope. In cities, towns, and small villages, humans started to come together. They shared food, helped the wounded, and told stories to keep their spirits alive. Even in the darkest moments, the human heart beat strong. In secret places far from the eyes of the aliens, groups of scientists and soldiers worked harder than ever before. They knew the aliens were powerful, but humans had something the aliens did not: strong will and sharp minds. They studied every detail of the alien ships. They tested new weapons. Every small success was a light in the darkness. The scientists found ways to use human weaknesses as strengths. They realized fear, which usually made people weak, could make humans smarter. Fear made people think fast, move faster, and never give up. This was something the aliens did not expect. Soldiers trained in new ways. They practiced moving quietly, hiding in the shadows, and striking without warning. They learned to work as teams. No longer were they just fighters. They were hunters. Small groups could surprise the aliens, even though the aliens had bigger weapons and stronger armies. Ordinary people also became heroes. Farmers, teachers, and workers took part in the fight. They shared food and supplies with soldiers. They carried messages between groups and helped protect their neighborhoods. Everyone had a role, and no one was too small to help. The aliens were shocked. They thought humans would break quickly, but the opposite was true. The more the aliens destroyed, the more humans stood strong. The aliens began to fear humans, a new feeling for them. They did not understand how these weak beings could keep fighting. In one city, a young woman named Sarah worked as a medic. She was not a soldier, but she saw what the aliens did to her home. She helped save many people's lives. Her hands were steady, even when the world around her was falling apart. Sarah became a symbol of hope for her friends and neighbors. Sarah, and others like her, believed humans had one great power: the power of the mind and heart. They knew that if they stayed together, they could find a way to win. The aliens might have better weapons, but humans had courage. Leaders of the human groups began to meet in secret. They shared ideas and planned their next moves. They agreed they could not fight the aliens alone. They needed to use every strength humans had: creativity, teamwork, and hope. Their plan was not just to survive, but to fight back and win. One night, deep in an underground bunker, a small team of scientists showed a new invention. It was a weapon unlike anything the world had seen before. It was designed to work with human skills, not just power. The weapon could confuse alien ships and stop their attacks for a short time. It was not perfect, but it was a start. The team knew this weapon would not win the war by itself, but it gave humans a new chance. It gave soldiers more time to fight, and more hope to the people. The weapon was named Hope. Meanwhile, the aliens noticed that humans were changing. They were no longer easy to scare or destroy. They moved faster, thought faster, and fought harder. The aliens began to fear losing control. Their commanders sent more troops, but the humans kept winning small battles. The war became a test of wills. Aliens had strength, but humans had something deeper. Humans had fear, but they used it like a shield and a sword. They were ready to face the unknown. Sarah, the medic, saw the change in her city. People who once ran and hid now helped soldiers with courage. Children who were afraid learned to hide quietly or run fast. Every person became part of the fight in their own way. As the war went on, the humans' determination grew. The aliens had brought destruction, but humans brought back hope. Every day, the humans learned more about their enemy and themselves. The fight was not easy. Many lost their lives, but the world was not ready to give up. One day, as the sun set behind the damaged city, Sarah looked at the sky. The alien ship still darkened the horizon, but now she saw something different. She saw light, small fires of resistance burning inside every human heart. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were warriors. The aliens had brought destruction, but humans were ready to bring something new. Fear back to the aliens. Fear that would change the war forever. The war between humans and aliens had reached a new stage. Humans were no longer running and hiding. They had learned to fight back. Small groups of soldiers began to strike the aliens when they least expected it. These attacks were the first signs that humans would not be easy to defeat. The first strike was carefully planned. The soldiers knew the alien ships were strong and fast. They knew a direct fight would be dangerous. So they used clever tricks and the land itself as a weapon. They set traps in forests, deserts, and ruined cities. They used shadows to hide and surprise the enemy. One group of soldiers waited silently in the forest near a small town. They were led by Captain Malik, a brave and smart leader. Malik knew the aliens were powerful, but he also knew humans had something the aliens could never have: hope and courage. The soldiers waited for hours. They watched the sky as the alien ships flew over. Finally, a small group of aliens landed near the town. They were looking for survivors and resources. The soldiers stayed quiet, their hearts beating fast but their hands steady. When the aliens moved into the trap, the soldiers attacked. They used light weapons, but their plan was to confuse and scare the aliens, not to fight head-on. The soldiers made loud noises, set off small explosions, and moved quickly from place to place. The aliens were surprised and confused. They had never seen humans fight like this before. The aliens tried to fight back, but the soldiers were too fast. The soldiers used the trees, rocks, and ruins to hide. They moved silently and struck suddenly. The aliens began to feel something new: fear. The aliens quickly called for backup and flew away from the trap. The soldiers watched them go, knowing they had won a small but important battle. The first strike was a success. It showed that humans could fight back. News of the first strike spread quickly. People around the world heard about Captain Malik and his team. They were no longer just victims. They were fighters, and their bravery gave hope to many. The aliens, however, were angry and confused. They had strong weapons, but humans were clever and fearless. The aliens had expected easy victories, but now they faced enemies who used brains, not just power. The war changed after the first strike. Humans started to plan more attacks like this. Small groups of soldiers moved quickly and quietly. They struck alien patrols, destroyed supply lines, and saved captured people. Every success made humans stronger and aliens weaker. The aliens tried to change their tactics. They used bigger ships and more soldiers. They built stronger bases and used more advanced weapons, but the humans always found a way to fight back. Behind the scenes, scientists kept working on new weapons. They knew that cleverness was important, but sometimes power was needed too. They worked day and night to create machines and tools that could help the soldiers. Captain Malik and his team became leaders in this new kind of war. They taught others how to use the land and the night to their advantage. They showed that even a small group could make a big difference. The soldiers learned to work as a team, trusting each other with their lives. They knew that fear was a natural feeling, but it did not have to control them. Instead, they used fear to stay alert and ready. Meanwhile, ordinary people watched and learned. They helped in any way they could. They built shelters, shared food, and cared for the wounded. Everyone had a role in this fight. The aliens began to feel that humans were not just strange creatures. They were smart and dangerous enemies. The fear that aliens felt grew stronger. They started to worry about losing the war. Captain Malik knew the fight was far from over. The aliens had power and numbers, but humans had heart and mind. The first strike was only the beginning. As night fell over the forest, Malik looked at the stars. The alien ships were still there, dark and threatening. But he felt hope. He believed that humans could win this war, one small fight at a time. The battle was changing. Humans had given the aliens a new enemy, one who was not afraid to fight back. The war had just begun, and the humans were ready. The aliens had never felt fear before. To them, fear was a strange and useless feeling. They were strong, fast, and powerful. They thought they were the greatest warriors in the universe. But now the aliens faced something new, the fear of humans. Humans were afraid, yes. They were scared of the alien ships, their weapons, and the destruction all around them. But this fear did not make humans weak. Instead, it made them stronger. It made them think faster, act smarter, and fight harder. The fear pushed humans to use their minds in ways the aliens could not understand. The aliens tried to study humans. They wanted to know why humans kept fighting even when the world was falling apart. They looked at the soldiers, the scientists, and the ordinary people who helped each other. They saw something they had never seen before: hope mixed with fear. This hope made humans brave. One alien commander named Zorak was curious. He watched the humans closely. He saw how their fear did not stop them. Instead, it made them create new weapons and new plans. It made them protect each other and never give up. Zorak started to feel something he had never felt before: doubt. Zorak asked his leaders why humans could not be destroyed quickly like other weak species. They had great weapons and many soldiers, but humans fought back like lions. The aliens began to worry. Could fear be a weapon? Could humans use their fear to win? In one human city, Sarah the medic saw this change too. She treated wounded soldiers who returned from battle. They told stories of fighting through fear, of standing tall even when everything seemed lost. Sarah understood that fear was a powerful tool. It made humans ready for anything. Scientists worked hard to learn how fear worked in the human brain. They wanted to use this knowledge to help soldiers. They created training that taught soldiers to control fear, to use it to stay calm and focused. This training made soldiers stronger and braver. The soldiers called this fear control. It was not about being without fear, but about using fear as strength. Captain Malik taught this to his team. He said, "Fear is a warning. Listen to it, but do not let it stop you. Use it to fight smarter." The aliens tried to understand this, but fear was foreign to them. They had never had to fight with their minds. Their weapons were strong, but their spirits were weak against this new kind of war. Humans were not just fighting with guns, they were fighting with heart and mind. Zorak, the alien commander, began to change his plans. He realized that strength alone would not win the war. He needed to understand humans better. He sent spies to watch human training and research. He hoped to find a weakness. But the more he watched, the more he saw humans grow stronger. The war was no longer just about weapons and battles. It was a battle of minds. Humans learned to use fear to protect themselves and fight back. The aliens learned to fear the unknown power inside humans. One day, Zorak met a human soldier on the battlefield. They fought with everything they had. The soldier was scared, but he did not run. He stood his ground and used every skill he had learned. Zorak saw in the soldier's eyes something he had never seen before: courage born from fear. The battle ended with no clear winner. Both sides retreated, but something had changed. The aliens knew that humans were not easy to defeat. The humans knew that fear could be their greatest strength. Back in the underground labs, scientists continued to build new weapons and tools. They worked to give soldiers an edge in battle. They believed the war could be won if humans used their fear well. Sarah helped train new medics and soldiers. She told them stories of bravery and hope. She reminded them that fear was natural, but it could be their friend, not their enemy. The humans' fear was no longer a weakness. It was a weapon. It was a shield. It was the reason they fought on when all seemed lost. The aliens, once proud and confident, began to see humans as worthy enemies. The fear humans carried was real and powerful. It was changing the war. And so, the battle continued. The aliens brought destruction, but humans brought fear. Fear that would change everything. The war grew harder each day. The aliens brought more ships and stronger weapons. The humans lost many friends and family, but their hope never died. Instead, it grew stronger. They learned that to survive, they must fight smarter, not just harder. Captain Malik and his soldiers became experts in hit-and-run attacks. They did not fight the aliens in open battles anymore. Instead, they used speed and surprise. They attacked alien supply lines in small groups, then disappeared into the shadows before the aliens could fight back. The humans had a secret weapon called Hope. It was a device made by scientists that could confuse the alien ships for a few minutes. These few minutes gave soldiers time to escape or attack. The device did not destroy the ships, but it gave humans a small advantage in the war. One day, Malik's team planned a dangerous mission. The aliens had built a new base near a large city. The base was full of weapons and soldiers. If humans could destroy the base, it would be a great victory. Malik's team moved carefully. They walked through dark forests and ruined buildings. They avoided alien patrols and traps. Every step was dangerous. If they were caught, it would mean death. When they reached the base, the soldiers used the Hope device. The alien ships near. The base suddenly became confused. Their weapons stopped working for a short time. The soldiers took this chance to attack. The battle was fierce. Humans fought with all their strength and skill. The aliens were surprised by the sudden attack. Many alien soldiers were captured or forced to retreat. Malik's team destroyed important weapons and supplies. The humans won this battle, but it was not easy. Many soldiers were hurt or lost. Malik himself was wounded, but he never stopped fighting. His bravery inspired others to keep going. After the battle, Malik's team returned to their base. They were tired and hurt, but they were proud. They had done something important for all humans. They had shown the aliens that humans were not weak. The victory gave hope to many people. It showed that humans could win. People began to believe that the war could end, but the aliens did not give up. They built new ships and weapons, even stronger than before. They sent more soldiers to fight. They wanted to destroy humans completely. Sarah, the medic, worked day and night. She treated wounded soldiers and helped new fighters get ready. She saw the pain and courage of humans every day. She knew that the war was far from over, but she believed in the human spirit. The scientists kept working too. They improved the Hope device and made new tools for soldiers. They knew that the war would be long, but humans had a secret power. Their fear and hope combined. The aliens grew more cautious. They had lost many battles and were afraid of the humans' new strength. They began to change their plans again. They sent spies to learn about human weapons and training. They wanted to find a way to stop the humans for good, but humans were ready. They had learned to work together, to protect each other, and to fight with courage. Every victory, no matter how small, was a step closer to freedom. One evening, Malik sat with Sarah and some soldiers. They talked about the future. They dreamed of a time when humans would live without fear, when the skies would be clear again, when the world would be safe. Malik said, "We have fought hard, and we have lost much, but we have also won. The aliens brought destruction, but we brought something stronger, hope and fear. Fear for them, hope for us." Sarah smiled. "This is only the beginning. The war will be hard, but we will never stop." The night was quiet, but the battle was far from over. The humans were ready to face whatever came next. They had learned the greatest lesson of all, that fear, when used well, can be the strongest weapon. And so the fight continued. The aliens had brought destruction, but humans gave them fear itself, a fear that would change the course of the war and the future of the world. The war had gone on for many months. The humans had learned much and grown stronger. But the aliens had not stopped. They brought new weapons and more soldiers. Each day was a fight for survival. Captain Malik and his team were always ready. They trained harder and planned carefully. The soldiers knew that every battle could be their last. But they did not fear death. They feared losing the fight for their home. One day, Malik received new orders. The aliens had built a huge fortress in the mountains. This fortress was a place where they made their strongest weapons. If the humans could destroy it, the aliens would lose a great advantage. Malik gathered his team. He looked into their eyes and saw determination. "This mission is dangerous," he said. "But if we succeed, we can change the war. We must be brave and smart." The journey to the fortress was hard. The mountains were cold and steep. The soldiers moved slowly but carefully. They avoided alien patrols and used every shadow to hide. When they reached the fortress, Malik's team saw how strong it was. Thick walls, powerful weapons, and many soldiers guarded it. A direct attack would be suicide. So Malik made a new plan. They would sneak inside at night using small tunnels and secret doors. The soldiers moved quietly, careful not to make a sound. Inside the fortress, the team found the alien weapons, huge machines that could destroy cities in minutes. Malik felt a cold fear, but he did not show it. He knew they had to destroy these machines no matter what. The soldiers set explosives near the machines. They worked fast, knowing the aliens could return at any moment. Suddenly, alarms rang out. The aliens had discovered them. A fierce battle began. The soldiers fought with all their strength. Malik was wounded but kept fighting. He called out orders, keeping his team together. The explosions destroyed the alien machines. The fortress shook, and fire spread quickly. The aliens tried to stop the humans, but it was too late. Malik's team ran through the tunnels, escaping the burning fortress. Many soldiers were hurt, but they survived. They had done what seemed impossible. When they returned to their base, everyone cheered. The fortress was gone, and the aliens had lost their strongest weapons. The war had changed again. Sarah treated the wounded, proud of the soldiers' courage. She knew many would heal and fight again. The scientists studied the fortress remains. They learned how the aliens made their weapons and planned new ways to stop them. The aliens were shocked and angry. They did not expect humans to destroy such a strong place. Their fear grew stronger. They realized the humans were more dangerous than ever. Zorak, the alien commander, was worried. He knew the war was turning against them. He had to find a new plan or risk losing everything. Malik and his team rested briefly. They knew more battles were coming, but they were ready. The humans had faced fear and destruction, but they had not broken. The war was far from over, but the humans had shown that courage, hope, and smart plans could win. The fight for Earth would continue. The aliens had brought destruction, but humans had given them fear that could win the war. The war had lasted a long time. Many battles were fought. Many lives were lost. But the humans never gave up. They believed in their home, in their future. They believed that one day the aliens would be defeated. Captain Malik and his soldiers had grown stronger and wiser. They had learned from every fight. They had learned to use fear not as a weakness but as a power. Fear made them alert and brave. Fear gave them strength when they felt tired or scared. The aliens were tired too. Their ships were damaged. Their soldiers were fewer. They had lost their strong fortress and many weapons. They knew humans were not easy enemies. The fear that humans gave them had changed everything. Zorak, the alien commander, called his leaders. They needed one last plan, a plan that would end the war quickly, before humans became too strong. But Malik and his team had a plan too. They would fight the aliens in their last battle with everything they had. They would protect Earth at all costs. The final battle was near a large city. The aliens wanted to destroy it to scare humans into giving up. But humans were ready. Soldiers, scientists, and ordinary people all worked together. The sky was full of alien ships. They flew like dark clouds, ready to bring destruction. But humans had hope and courage. They had weapons and plans. They had learned from fear and turned it into strength. The battle started with loud explosions and bright lights. Ships fought in the sky. Soldiers fought on the ground. The noise was deafening. The air was filled with smoke and dust. Malik led his team through the city's ruins. They moved fast and smart. They used every trick they had learned. They attacked alien soldiers, destroyed weapons, and helped their people hide safely. Sarah was with the medics. She treated the wounded and gave hope to those who were scared. She told them, "Fear is normal, but it will not stop us. We will win together." Zorak's ships began to fall one by one. The aliens fought hard but could not break the human spirit. The fear humans gave them was stronger than any weapon. At the end, Malik and Zorak faced each other, two leaders from two worlds. Malik was hurt, but standing strong. Zorak was angry and tired. They fought, not just with weapons, but with willpower. Malik's courage and hope won. Zorak saw that the humans' fear was not weakness, but power. He realized the aliens had lost. The aliens began to retreat. Their ships flew away from Earth, leaving behind silence and broken dreams. Humans cheered. They had won the war. They had saved their home. They had faced destruction and given the aliens fear itself. The world was not the same. It was scarred but alive. Humans had learned to be brave and smart. They had learned that fear could be a friend. Captain Malik looked at the sky. The stars were bright and clear again. He knew the war was over, but the future was just beginning. People rebuilt their cities and lives. They remembered the battles and the bravery. They told stories of hope, fear, and courage. The aliens had come to bring destruction, but humans had brought them fear, a fear that changed everything. And that fear made humans strong. The war was over, but the world had changed forever. Cities lay in ruins, and people had lost many loved ones. But humans were alive. They had survived the worst and won against a powerful enemy. Captain Malik became a hero. People looked up to him and his soldiers. But Malik knew the fight was not truly over. The aliens had gone away for now, but no one knew if they would come back. Sarah worked with other medics and scientists to help the world heal. She treated the sick and helped rebuild hospitals. She listened to stories of pain and hope. She knew the future was uncertain, but she believed in the strength of people. The leaders of Earth came together. They wanted to make sure humans were ready if the aliens returned. They built new defenses and created a team of soldiers trained to fight in space. Malik helped train the new soldiers, teaching them the lessons learned from the war. People began to trust each other more. The war had shown them how important it was to work together. Different countries shared their knowledge and resources. They built new technologies to protect Earth and explore the stars. But some humans were afraid. They worried the aliens might come back stronger. Some said humans should prepare for another war, while others hoped for peace. Zorak, the alien commander, returned to his home planet. He told his leaders about the fear humans had given them. The aliens were divided. Some wanted revenge while others wanted to find peace. Zorak believed there was hope for peace. He remembered the courage and strength of the humans. He thought maybe both sides could learn to live without fighting. Back on Earth, Malik and Sarah watched the sky. They hoped for peace but stayed ready for war. They knew that fear had helped humans survive, but they wanted a future without fear. One day, a message came from space. It was a signal from the aliens. They wanted to talk. CAE. Leaders of Earth were surprised. They decided to listen. Malik and Sarah were part of the team that met with the aliens. It was the first time the two worlds spoke after the war. The meeting was tense, but hopeful. Both sides talked about what had happened and what they wanted for the future. Humans told the aliens about their fear and courage. Aliens shared their thoughts and fears. Slowly, trust began to grow. Both sides agreed to stop fighting and learn from each other. The war had brought destruction, but it also brought a new beginning. Humans had given the aliens fear, and that fear had changed everything. Now it was time for hope to lead the way. After the first meeting, the humans and aliens began to build something new, a future of peace. It was not easy. Both sides had scars from the war. Both sides had fear and anger, but they wanted to try. Captain Malik and Sarah worked hard to help the world heal. They traveled to many cities and villages telling stories of courage and hope. They reminded people that even after destruction, there is a chance to build something better. The leaders of Earth and the alien worlds met many times. They talked about ways to stop wars forever. They shared knowledge about science, medicine, and life. Slowly, they became friends. Malik and Sarah watched as new spaceships were built. Not for war, but for exploration and help. Humans and aliens trained together. They learned from each other. They grew stronger not by fighting, but by working as one. The memories of the war stayed in people's hearts. They remembered the fear and pain, but they also remembered the bravery and hope. These memories made them stronger and kinder. Zorak, the alien commander, changed too. He became a leader for peace. He worked to make sure his people never forgot the lessons of the past. One day, Malik looked at the stars and smiled. He knew the war was over. The destruction was gone. The fear was still there, but changed into respect and care. The humans had given the aliens fear itself, but now they gave them something new: trust. The Earth was healing, and the universe was opening with new possibilities. The story of war and fear became the story of peace and hope, and humans showed the universe that even in the darkest times, light can shine through.